This section is about sources which you can use to find out about what's going on in education in France at the moment, starting with what I think is the very best one, France Éducation Internationale. It's from anything where you've got that symbol there. It's actually from the Ministère de l'Éducation nationale, so you can pretty much think that this is going to be the truth, I suppose. Used to be called, by the way, the CIEP, which was the International Study of Pedagogical Studies. But the thing that I particularly like on this site is that you can download a big document which has got everything you want to know about education in France. And it's particularly designed to be read by people from other countries. So it's very, very helpful. It's téléchargeable, it's a downloadable, tout ce que vous voulez savoir sur la situation actuelle. So it's everything, and you can see September 2020, it's brought up to date. So this PowerPoint, which is available to everybody, has got links to it. So if you click on it, then you can just download this 21-page document. We've got infographics which help you, all of the different ways of training, chiffres clés, so key figures. And then all of these are active hyperlinks, so you can just go on those and find the information. So there's far more than you actually need for the A-level. And in a sense, I've gone through it already to pick out the main bits, but I think it's really helpful, and particularly for teachers, to be able to access that. So the next one, and this is key really, that this is the actual ministry itself, which has got a very, very good site. I feel it's attractive, it's easy to navigate, and you can get the up-to-date information. So educationgouv.fr, and as I put, it's the official site of the government. So in this presentation, I've given you the links to the various areas in the index, but it's good just to be able to flick around and find things. Notice that it's got there pour l'école de la confiance. This at the moment is the law that's been brought in to try and make it so that people have got a little bit more trust in the school system. Education France YouTube, so they have got their own YouTube. You've got here the Minister for Education, who gives regular updates on what's going on. At the moment, we're going through the COVID situation, and he will give news bulletins to people. He also likes to talk to students, so you'll see lots of dialogues with students. So that's la chaîne officielle, YouTube d'Éducation. This again is, you can see it's from the ministry, EduSchool. Now this one is particularly pour informer les professionnels de l'éducation. So it's particularly meant to be designed for teachers to be looking at it. But within it, you've then got lots of presentations which they would say, well, this is what you could use for your students. This is how you can present what's going on. So it really is very, very good indeed, particularly if you're preparing to look into detail at any particular thing. So on here, I've just given you the areas that you've got. So you've got the those 4 tabs take you through different things. So that's to do with the content and how to teach. These are the pathways that they can do, what's going on in the life of the schools, and this is about teacher training. So for the content there, you've got all of the syllabuses, experiment, what's going on, how to teach with digital, which of course is very important at the moment. Here are various themes and documentation, so that's that. Then scolarité, organising of the, by the way, enseignement. Enseigner means to teach, and when you look at their translations, they tend to say subjects and disciplines. So how is the teaching done? So you've got all the types of establishment there, the certificates, the diplomas, orientation, careers guidance. This is support for students. And this is prevention and fight against le décrochage. I love that word, décrochage. Unhooking. It's people dropping out of school. So trying to do something about that. This is all to do with the school life, what goes on there, how they function, becoming citizens, looking out to other countries, le numérique, digital. So there's that, and then you've got the formation des enseignants, how the teachers are trained. Now here's a confession that it was only when I came to the end of doing this whole presentation of about 160 slides that I discovered this bit where it is actually in English. Now, you might think, well, that's cheating a little bit, you don't really need it. But sometimes you do think, well, what do they actually mean by that particular phrase? So, for example, there is one which is called le socle. Now, I know that's a plinth. It's a plinth for a statue. It's a basis. And I was really pleased with myself when I in the end came up with common core of knowledge, skills and culture. And that's what they've called it. So if ever you're not sure about, well, what do they mean by that? Or if there isn't an exact English equivalent, what do they use for the English equivalent? So, for example, the word lycée, we don't have a lycée which covers those particular years. So they'll talk about in fact, they've written it as being the senior, the upper secondary school. And if you look to the bottom as well, they give links to other very good sites that you can go to there. You can click on and find. So lots of links there. One of those links is a data one. When you come to do an A-level, often there'll be something which is to do with statistics, which you have to interpret. Well, it's good if beforehand you've already had an experience of looking at statistics and working out how to say what percentage of the population does this or whatever. Right, another really key site is ONICEP. Again, it's part of what the ministry's put together. What's it saying? Right. Really, there is a concern that people are being educated, but that's not necessarily always translating into managing to get jobs or going on the right pathway. So there's a real thing at the moment about trying to make sure that people get to really think about where they're going, what their direction is. So this particular one, it produces information on formation, training, and les métiers and jobs. So obviously that starts at the school, so there are things to do with the school, but it's particularly going towards how you then get your job and how you manage to be recruited. And it's also got things for students, parents. So it's ever such a good site, and because it's particularly aimed at students and parents, not just at professionals, I find it really quite attractive and interactive. Because of the fact that there seems to be a problem in people dropping out of higher education because they haven't been prepared well enough and they haven't thought about what they're going to do. This is a fairly recent site that's been put together just for people who are in their final year of secondary school, where they've got stages that they have to go through in order to work out what it is they're going to do. So that's a really good site for that particular area. And there's this one. Again, what's good about this is it's designed for the students to be able to navigate around. Quand je passe le bac, when I take the A-level. So that's a nice accessible site. For information, you can go to Eurydice, which is the European, the EC. It's very, very sad. You see a little sign at the bottom, always saying, that we're having to update it because the UK is leaving. But that will have lots of comparative studies on schools from one country to another, and it means that also you can get information, obviously about France as well. So those are all the official sources. I know that some people don't like Wikipedia. Some people will say, oh, it's not really reliable. For some people, they might think it's even more reliable because it isn't an official source. The other sources that I've been looking at, that's the government, and it's the government telling us how well they're doing. It might be seen that it's not necessarily very critical. So it's quite good to have sites like Wikipedia where you've got perhaps other viewpoints. So just a little bit of a health warning that we know that, for example, here it says it hasn't got the sources cited, but in fact it is it's a very, very long article, and you can find some very good comments, including some critiques of the system. I personally have got a YouTube playlist. It hasn't got very much on it at the moment to do with education, but I will maintain that. You might, if you're on Facebook, you could go and follow the ministry's Facebook, which, as with quite a lot of these official ones, they put things out and then people tend to be a little bit rude to them. Same with Twitter as well, but it's good I follow them so that I can see what's going on. This is really for teachers. Le Café Pédagogique, it's where you can go and have a little bit of a chat about what's going on in education, but it means that you can really keep up to date with things there. If you're interested in seeing what do they learn, what are the resources, this is really good, and for teachers as well, to use this just for teaching French cross-curricular. This is really good, so you can be teaching French through other subjects as well.